Hey, guys. Welcome to the Patrice Brantley Show. But before we get into it, I need you to answer this question. Do you want to be a happier me? Have you had that thought process? How can I become a happier me? Well, today we get opportunity to answer that question. And I am so thrilled to the bones that I get to introduce you to Dr. Krishna. But before we get into this, let's jump into this word from our sponsor. Hey, listen, guys. I know a lot's happening right now, right? And we all need someone we can talk to. We all need somebody who could be a listening ear or a soundboard. So I need you to head on over to the 3S movement, book your appointment. Come on in, talk to some people. Let people know that you need to be heard and they have something positive to share with you. That's right. It's the 3S movement, a great place and a safe place for you to share your concerns. All right, y'all, listen. So much is going on. But I'm so excited about this today because we're going to be talking about to Dr. Krishna, who's going to be talking to us about being a happier me. But y'all know I have to ask this first question. What's your story? What got you here, Dr. Krishna? Tell us about you, your background.
Well, I used to be a surgeon, Patrice, and thank you for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be here. I love your energy, and you've got this infectious kind of energy which I want to just hang around with. So I used to be a surgeon, and I joined medicine to help people feel better.
That's
And I
good.
left medicine to start Happier Me for the same reason. But I thought I had an idea that could make a difference to millions of people rather than one person at a time. And so that's how we started this project.
I love how you say I got into medicine or surgery, I should say. You say I got into surgery to make people feel better. And then you say, but then I left medicine to start Happier Me, which is another way of making people feel better
Exactly, right. But just on a bigger scale.
on a bigger scale. So we're going to get into this happier me in a moment. I got to be a little nosy, y'all. Y'all know how I do. As we get into this piece, you're talking about being a happier me. What took you from the road to surgeon to creator? Because that's a bit of a dip.
It comes from a feeling of wanting to ease suffering in the world.
Wow.
It
Okay.
comes from a feeling of compassion, from realizing that there's so much suffering in the world, as you know,
Yes.
and a lot of it is avoidable. And if you know something that could make a difference to millions of people's lives, then you can't keep it to yourself and you need to share it. And that's really where my journey began. I started working with children and I discovered that they have this amazing inner wisdom or intelligence already. In fact, each human being does. But we just need to find a way of connecting people with their own wisdom. And if you can do that, you can lead a happier life no matter what life throws at you. That's the key.
I love how you talked about you started with kids. Like I always believe that when you start with a kid, you're at their pure genius level, right? Because you get to see who they are without the filter, without all the rules, right? Kids are just who they are. They're that raw piece of clay that we get to mold in as they grow. And I love that you talk about they have a wisdom. I love this, right? Because many people think I am the only authority, right? Being the adult, being the parent. But you're saying these kids come here packaged with wisdom. They walk into the world knowing some things that maybe we're not allowing them to express just yet.
Yes. So I think this idea that children have to be molded
Mm,
in the image of the adults because we know more than they do, for example,
mhm,
I think that we need to question that. I think
mm,
children have an innate wisdom which we need to draw out of them. In fact, every human being does. That's what I meant. Every
okay.
human being has this innate inner wisdom which they need to connect with. And they can do that just by learning about themselves through self awareness. And if you can connect with your own inner wisdom, then you can live in peace with yourself, with others, and the world. And you've got a treasure that millions of people don't have, which is this feeling of peace. No matter how much money you might have,
Wow.
people are missing this sense of peace, right?
Now you're really talking good to me right there because in this season of all the ups and downs and things that are going on, people are stocking and watching the stock market and all these things. And you just dropped a serious gem, as I love to say, right? A jewel. Because here you are saying, no matter the amount of money, no matter whether you're on the good side or the bad side, it all equals to you need that level of peace.
Yes. And if you don't have that peace, no amount of money is going to give it to you. And if you
Wow.
have that peace, then you don't need all that money because you're quite happy with just enough to, for your needs, right?
So I got my own theory, but I'm gonna come back. I don't need all the money, but it does make a sweeter experience. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not denying, by the way, the value of money or the importance of it. I'm just saying we chase money in the hope that the
Mm,
more we have, the happier we'll be. Otherwise, why would people spend 18 hours a day or 15 hours a day working, 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 right? Because we hope that the more money we have, the happier we'll be. But that
mm.
equation doesn't work. You only have to ask people who have the money, hey, has that money really, how much has it added to your sense of peace, not pleasure? So happiness, actually, we need to start by asking what happiness is, because
Well,
it
let's
can,
start with what is happiness. I think we definitely need to start there.
yeah, we need to start there. So happiness can be either pleasure, which means all the things money can buy, eating out, holidays,
Mm,
clothes, cars, all of that. Now that's pleasure. I'm not saying it's wrong.
okay.
But pleasure doesn't last long, right? The new
Mm,
car becomes an old car and then you don't notice it anymore. The new dress becomes an old dress. Or the new husband becomes an old husband. You don't notice him
right.
anymore. Or the new girlfriend becomes an old girlfriend. You want a new one, and so
You
on,
want a
right?
new one?
Because the pleasure that anything brings, pleasure is short-lived.
It's
That's the nature.
temporary. Yes.
But the nature of pleasure is that when it ends, it leaves you feeling empty. And then you
Mm.
need to chase something more, right?
Oh, that's good.
You notice that,
Yes, that's good. I like how you placed that. I like how you presented that.
right? So when
Mm,
you need to chase something more, so then you get the next thing, but the next thing needs to be bigger and better. The old phone won't do. You'll never buy a new phone which is a older model to the one you already have. It's got to be bigger and better, right?
mm.
You understand? Nobody
Yes.
ever says, I'm going to buy a cheaper dress this time. I'm going to buy a much cheaper car or whatever it might be.
Hmm.
Because the dopamine hit that we get doesn't last long. See what I mean? From pleasure.
Yes.
We need something more. So that's pleasure. And pleasure can be happiness, but it continues to leave you feeling empty and unfulfilled. So then your house becomes bigger and bigger, your cars become bigger and bigger, you get more, but you still feel empty inside.
Mm.
Now, peace is something different.
Okay, come on, talk to me about peace. You gave me an
Peace,
excellent rap with happiness over here with
right?
pleasure.
So
So let's
I
go to
think
peace.
the other way you can look at happiness is peace, contentment. That means
That's
I
good.
really appreciate what I have. I appreciate the people in my life. I live in peace with myself. I accept myself as I am. I have peace in my relationships. There's no conflict. There's
That's
goodness,
good.
love, compassion, understanding, caring, all of that. And I've and if I can live in peace with myself and with you, we can have peace in the world. But to do that, we need to go on this journey of learning about ourselves. It doesn't come naturally to us. Peace,
I love how you broke this down. I'm gonna tell you what I heard because this was like an eye to me, right? Eye catching moment. Pleasure is something that's external, outside of you. It's something I can put my hand on, maybe something I can eat, right? For that particular moment, that temporary moment. But when you talked about peace, this is that inner peace, that inner part, the things that people can't see, that joy that runs throughout, right? And I
Yes.
love that because this is a good visual for today's society, right? Everybody is going for the pleasure, the pleasure, the pleasure. You look online, it's how big can I get the house? How quick, how fast can the car go? How much can I get in this setup or this and that? But it's a difference when there's peace to it.
Yes.
Peace means if I'm in a one room shack, I'm okay.
Yeah.
If I'm in a 20-room mansion, I'm still okay because
Exactly.
there's peace not within the building, but in me.
In you. Exactly right.
I love this. Okay,
Right.
let's go a little deeper because now this is getting good. You're getting good to me now. Come on. So,
Okay. But one thing about pleasure, by the way,
mm-hmm,
is it's also got a dark side to it, you see.
mm,
It's not just about making me feel good, because the more I get, the more I need. Have you noticed that?
so it's a continual want.
The wanting continues. Now, it could
Wow.
be shopping, which leaves you in debt. It could be food, which makes you overweight.
Yeah.
It could be alcohol, which, of course, and drugs, which leads to addiction, and so on. So, or it could be the phone. You start off with 20 minutes a day, and in a month, you're doing 8 hours a day,
Wow.
right? Because the more pleasure you get, the more pleasure the mind needs just to feel good about itself. And so, if you're not careful, before you
Mhm.
know it, all these bad things have started happening to you. You've put on weight, you've started drinking too much alcohol, you're in debt, you've got this compulsive shopping habit or whatever
Mm,
compulsive habit, you might have. And so there's a dark side to chasing pleasure, but there's no
mm.
dark side to peace.
I like that.
You see?
There's no dark side to chasing peace.
Yes, there's
I
no
like that.
dark side to peace. And for peace, you don't need money. You
Mm,
don't need a degree. You don't need to be clever. You
mm,
don't need to have all those things that people say you need. See? All
mm,
you need is your own curiosity, your
okay.
own intelligence, and an open mind that's willing to learn. And it begins with a simple question: what's getting in the way of being at peace?
Okay.
See? If you
Okay.
ask yourself that question, what gets in the way of being at peace with myself?
Mm.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So it's the question, you see, that's the key, because it opens a door to wisdom. Asking the right question of yourself and
Yes.
genuinely exploring it opens a door to wisdom. But to do that, you need to do two, three things. Firstly,
Okay.
you need to rediscover the curiosity you had as a child. You remember, see how curious children are.
Yes, I
They look at
remember
a flower from, all the different
all
angles. They play
angles.
around with it. They're so curious, right?
Wow.
But here we're going to be curious about our own mind. That's number one. The second thing
Curiosity.
is we need to look at ourselves without judgment. You don't
Ooh,
look at the
that's good.
moon and say, that's a good moon today, or that's a bad moon. That's a terrible moon,
Mm, that's
right?
good.
But we always judge ourselves and other people as good or bad or right or wrong, right? And if you are judging, you can't learn. So you have to look at yourself without judgment, with curiosity, with an open mind, right?
Mm,
Because you know how the mind doesn't like new things. If it's presented with something that's very new,
mm.
it pushes it away, right?
Oh, wow.
Have you noticed that in
So
yourself?
wait, I just had a whole light bulb moment. I'm sorry. Whole light bulb moment. First thing I have to have the curiosity is if when I was a kid. And
Yes,
I think that's beautiful because it gives you a chance to tap back into that rediscovering you, but really connecting back into the imagination,
yes,
being that dreamer again, right? I love that piece. And then you talked about too, not just having the curiosity, but being open. And I'm
Yes.
trying to make sure I said this correctly. Oh man, you just said it.
Not judging, you see?
No judge, thank you. The no judging. Because I find that we all find something we're judging, right?
Yes.
Either, oh my God, today my skin don't look as clear as it was yesterday. Oh my God, I gained a couple pounds. Oh, this doesn't look as good as it did before. Like that judgment piece comes so easy. So I'm gonna put my question to the judgment to the side. Let me write it down on my list because I definitely want to ask about that. But give us number three because that was big.
Okay. And the third thing is to ask a question. And in this case, it could be, hey, what gets in the way of being at peace? So, for example,
Hmm.
one thing I could learn is if I'm looking at social media, all right,
Hmm.
and I'm feeling less than others, I'm feeling jealous about people and what they're achieving, and I feel my life is a failure, all of that, right?
Hmm.
And I go through this process. I observe all that's happening. I'm curious, what's going on?
Right? What's happening with me?
What's happening inside me? Not what's happening outside me. What's happening inside me? What's getting in the way of being at peace?
That's
And then
good.
I'm learned something amazing, Patrice, that my mind is comparing all the time, but I am
Mm.
not aware of it, right? Do you notice that?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
So your mind is, all our mind, your mind and mine is the same. We compare all the time. We're not aware of it, right? Now I see that. That's getting in the way of me feeling at peace, right?
Mm. Okay.
So next time my mind starts comparing, I'm going to say, is that serving me? How does
That's
that
good.
serve me? It doesn't serve me, right? It's just making me feel miserable.
I agree.
So I let it go. I let the comparison go because now I can see what my mind is doing to me. See?
So I'm gonna go back for a second because you talked about being curious. You talked about not judging yourself, and you
Yes.
talked about having an open mind. But I want to go back a little bit to the judging. How do we not judge ourselves? Like, how do we, if that is something that somebody is struggling with, right? How do we not judge ourselves? Because sometimes that's a part of the upbringing that we've been a part of.
Yes.
Sometimes that's the inner dialogue. Sometimes that is truly just this place of they got this look or it looks this way from the outside, and here I am, lonely me, right? So, how do we not judge?
Okay. Again, use the same process to notice that my mind is judging, right?
Okay.
To be curious. Why is my mind judging? Not it's right or wrong. Why is my mind doing that?
Okay.
Be curious. And
That's
then to observe it with an open mind, no judgment. Okay, I'm not bad because I'm judging. I'm not good. I'm just, or I don't have an opinion. I'm just curious. What's going on in my mind to make it judge all the time, right? What's going on? I'm curious.
mm,
Curiosity doesn't require an education. Curiosity doesn't require a high IQ,
mm,
right?
right.
You understand?
Yes.
Every human being who can walk can also be curious and learn about themselves and find this peace for themselves. That's the beautiful thing. See, you don't have to be rich to have this peace, right?
Okay.
All
So,
right. So now we're curious. Why is my
yes, we
mind
are.
judging all the time? What's going on in my mind?
Hmm.
Now you mentioned something. Ah, there's my upbringing.
Right.
So all my past influences are stored in my mind, right?
Right.
That becomes Patrice, that becomes Manoj.
Hmm.
Then my mind is comparing what I know with what I see in the world.
That's good.
Oh, Patrice is driving a bigger car than me. Oh, or, or whatever it might
Yes.
be. So I'm judging myself as a failure because, oh, Patrice says, you're my sister and you're president of this corporation and I'm the cleaner in the local shop. So whatever it might be.
Gotcha.
So we're always judging ourselves. But the judgment is based on what? there's no gold standard. We're not born with this is the ideal, right? It's
Right.
what your mind is doing to you. That's the thing to wake up to and realize you don't have to be your past. You don't have to
That's
be
good.
your conditioning. Once
Okay.
you notice that's what your mind is doing, then you can be free.
I love this piece. Okay, wait, you've given me some awesome stuff here. So I'm loving this part about being free because as you talk about it, you reiterated again that if I just take the moment to go back and look at where I've been conditioned to this not the best mindset and start unlearning what I've learned to
Yes.
set myself free in this way. I love this part. So now, how can I take that and let's balloon it a little bit, right? Because you've gone from this surgeon to now creating this app, Happier Me. What part of this for yourself did you have to unlearn as becoming and transitioning into this world of making an app or inventing an app?
Yes. So everything that's in the app, by the way, I'm the same human being you are.
Yes.
Do you understand? We're all the same human being.
Yes.
And all we're doing is bringing our curiosity. So I had to unlearn my conditioning. So I'll give you an
Wow.
example of that.
Okay.
So conditioning, we're not saying it's wrong, by the way. We're not saying
Right.
comparison is wrong. We're just saying it's happening without our awareness.
That's good.
And just by learning about what our mind is doing to us, we can be free. We can use our intelligence to decide what serves us or not.
Okay.
So when I first came from India 30 years ago, I came with two bits of conditioning. One is that I should look after my parents as they got older.
Okay.
And so every home I had a place for them. They could come and stay. And then my mum stayed with me for the last 7 years of her life, and I really looked after her well after my father passed away.
Okay.
But I also came with another piece of conditioning, which is that women should do all the cooking and the housework.
I know you had to unlearn that quick.
Right? You understand?
Uh-huh.
So you can imagine now the conflict that created in the house.
Yes.
But I was convinced I was right and the other person
Oh,
was wrong.
wow.
Because that's what our conditioning does, you see.
Right.
Our conditioning makes us certain we are right. Just look around you. Look at all the people who have a political opinion. They
Right.
can't imagine anyone has a different opinion to them. Do you understand?
Kind of feeling like the being around the same voice, same bubble.
Yeah, but whatever your conditioning is becomes your view of the world, and then you become really attached to that. And you can't think that anyone can think any differently. Everyone else is wrong, I'm right. Okay,
Hmm.
that's conditioning. That's what your mind is doing. So when you wake up and you start questioning your conditioning, how does it serve me? Then I realized looking after my parents was a really good thing. I was going to hang on to that.
Yes.
But expecting the women to do the housework and cooking, that didn't make any sense at all.
Mm,
That's just not fair. It's not right.
I agree.
So it just drops away. You don't have to make any effort. When you see something clearly, your life changes. That's the beauty of this work. You,
Right.
all you need to do is see clearly, right? Let's go back to pleasure. Once
Okay.
you see clearly that this new dress you're buying, you've got 20 in the cupboard already, but this new
Mm-hmm.
dress you're buying is going to make you feel good for half a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then next week, you're going to be empty again. You'll put it back on the rack. You'll save your $100. You won't buy that dress. See what I mean?
I agree.
See? So when you see something clearly, your life changes. And all we're saying is this peace comes from being curious, but what's getting in the way? What's going on in our own mind? Why do I think this way?
Okay.
So, self awareness is just the art of noticing what we're thinking
Mm,
and feeling and what we're doing and
okay.
understanding why. And that understanding can transform our life.
I love this piece. So now get into this app because now you done got me hooked. Now I'm in here. I'm ready. So you done talked to me about the major three. You talked about not being judgmental. Talk to me about this app because now I know that. Oh my gosh, you're singing my song here. You're teaching me how to get out of old conditioning and really move into this. How can Happier Me help me get to that next level?
So the first thing we realize is that our mind is an automatic reaction machine. Let's call
Mm,
it that.
okay.
Before you know it, you're feeling stressed or angry or anxious or lonely, or we have no control over all these feelings we have. Right? Before you know
Right.
it, bang, your mind is on, you're distressed, you're feeling all these things. So the first thing the app does is helps you, gives you tools to calm the mind down,
That's good.
right? So it helps you with breathing exercises and tapping and journaling and meditations and mindfulness to just calm the mind down. When your mind is calm, right,
Yeah.
it then invites you to go deeper and ask the questions that you and I have been exploring today. Why do I
Okay.
think this way? Why do I feel this way? What can I learn about myself?
Mm,
And the more you learn about yourself, the more your life changes for the better. So I'll give you another example. Say you have a fever and you go to
mhm.
the doctor.
Yes.
The doctor will give you a tablet to bring the temperature down. But a good doctor will also find out why you've got the fever in the first place.
So they're getting to the root.
Yeah. And if you treat the root cause of the fever, then you're better for the long term, right?
Yes.
So in this case, take that example of the smartphone and comparing yourself and so on. So the breathing exercises will make you feel better now. But if you want to feel better tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, you need to
Mhm.
understand why you feel that way. What's going on? And then when you learn about comparison, oh my God, your life changes. You say, my mind is making me feel terrible without my own awareness. It's not serving me. You understand?
Gotcha.
And once I learn about my own mind in that deeper way, what's going on, then I'm free for the long term. Then I pick up the phone. Patrice has been to the amazing holiday. I just doesn't bother me. In fact, I say, well
Mm,
done, Patrice. Thank you for send me some pictures of Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii. I can't
there
afford to
you
go to
go.
Hawaii. Please send me some pictures so I can travel there with you. You know,
Yes.
my whole relationship changes. And then our
That's
relationship
good.
doesn't get spoiled. Because at the moment, you put your pictures of Hawaii up, I stop talking to you. I say, I'm not talking to
Mm,
you. Patrice is making me feel bad. Do you notice how our
wow.
mind works, right?
That's it. Ooh, that's good.
You know what I mean? When people put their pictures
Mm,
on social media, we blame them for how it's making us feel.
wow.
We don't realize it's our own mind that's making us feel that way. Do you see?
In the app, you're telling me that you have quite a few tools and things that we can use. How can these tools, well, let's kind of go back for a second. You told me about these different tools that you have in the app, meditation, journaling, things of that nature, right? Um, how can we use these for teens? Teens have been the new demographic that we're seeing needs a lot more love right now in the area of mental wellness, right? Not that we're singling them out, but we know they need a little bit more love right now. A lot is going on. They have been with the internet all of their life. So how
Yes.
do we get them to see themselves in this midst of working through the Happier Me app?
So we realize this problem, Patrice, and right now, you quite rightly said, they're going through a really tough time. In America right now, 29% of teens have a mental health problem. 22% are thinking of suicide.
Wow.
40% feel sad all the time. This is from the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta, CDC. Very authoritative source. So we built an app for teenagers. And so the HappierMe app has two parts to it, one part for teens, one for adults. So it can support the entire family. And
Mm,
with teens, by the way, whether you're 5 years old or 50, your heart works in the same way, right?
yes.
So your mind works in the same way too. So you can now sit down and have conversations. So when I sit down with children and teens, and by the way, there's a section in the app called Teen Talk. I'd love people to see that. So you can see their wisdom shining through. It's just
Yes.
conversations with teenagers from around the world. And when you sit down with them, you just say, I'm the same human being you are. Come on, let's explore this together. Let's find out. Let's talk about
Mm,
stress together or anxiety together or whatever it might be. Or
mm.
relationship conflict or addiction or whatever it might. And once you begin exploring it, the more you learn, the more freedom you find yourself with. See,
Wow.
it's in your hands. Your happiness is in your hands. So around you, there can be chaos, but in yourself, you're anchored in your own peace. And this is what Happier Me can help you to do.
I love how you talked about with the teens, and you gave some amazing statistics, really, because I don't think people realize how serious it's getting
They
out
don't
here for our
realize that.
teens.
No,
And
no.
it's not something that's going away. We can't brush it under the rug. It has to be dealt with. And I think the quicker we talk about and have these conversations with our teens, which I feel is something we've stopped, right? I feel like that's something as a community we don't do as much anymore. We've kind
Yes,
of gotten used to here's some screens, these are some things you do, but a conversation can make the biggest difference between whether I understand you, whether you really connect with me, and how you can help me develop into a better me.
yes, yes.
So I
Because,
love, mhm. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, I think teens are confused. They also confused about why do they feel this way?
Mm,
When I talk to them, they say understanding our emotions is our number one priority,
wow.
much more important than anything we're being taught in school. Because all of that stuff is on my phone anyway. History, geography, maths, the
Hmm.
list of whatever facts they want me to memorize and repeat in exams. It's all on my phone. They don't see the point of the education system as it is right now. Because what we're doing in education is we're saying memorize this, repeat it in the exam, and if you can do that really well, then you are a star, you're going to be successful, you get all the applause. Oh, and if you can't do that, you're a failure. You fail the exam. See? Not you just fail the exam, but you are a failure. And that's so wrong, right?
Mm,
Because even today, if I ask all the teachers I work with, when you go shopping, do you make a list or do you memorize all the things you need to buy? They all make a list, they write it down,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we don't need this capacity anymore because it's all on the phone. So education needs to change, in my view. And this understanding, what we're talking about now, needs to become part of education. So children can be taught how to manage their own mental health, how to make sense of their emotions, how to have happier relationships, how to avoid and overcome addiction, how to develop. And when you go to workplaces now, you know this, Patrice,
Hmm.
employers are looking to see what's your communication skills like?
Yes,
What's your resilience like? How good are you at teamwork? How good are you at problem solving? What's your time management?
yes.
See? And the more you learn about yourself, and if you have a mind that's at peace, then all of these things come naturally. See?
So I love how you gave us the breakdown of how this could help for teens. How does this help the parent?
So I think you can have much better conversations with with children. So what I do, I have a
Okay.
stepson who's a teenager. I put the app up on the TV, I project it on the TV,
Okay.
or I sit down with him and we go through one screen at a time together and we discuss it.
Mm.
So what do you think of this? Oh yeah, I also feel stressed. So it's so wonderful for them to realize that they feel stressed, but so do the adults feel stressed. So both
Ah,
parents and teens can learn together. See?
and I love how you talk about taking it from just I'm gonna tell you the pieces I love about this the most, right? You talked about you project this on the TV or you take it as you all looking at the app together. But I love how you're taking it from the technology piece back to the center of the relationship piece. And I
Yeah.
think so many times we think that you just have to have it looking in one way. The key piece of technology is to take you from technology back into the person to person, the connection piece. And I think people are forgetting that. I love
Yes.
that part about it. But I also love when we talk about this, how you can utilize this with therapists. Because when I first saw this, I was like, okay, I can see this, but I want you to share a little bit more because I know there's a therapist out there that's saying everybody's trying to take over this job. Everybody's trying to use AI. Everybody thinks they can do this. And I
Yeah.
don't necessarily think this is a takeover. I think it's a really good connection tool, a supplement to what you're doing when you practice. So talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yes, I think, I mean, you and I talked about this briefly, but I think there are four ways in which Happier Me can enhance a therapist practice.
Mm,
Okay.
good.
The first is you see a client one day and you're seeing them again in a week's time.
Mm, okay.
So you can then tell them, hey, go and look at this part of the app, or go and do these breathing exercises, or go and do this journaling, or go and read that module on conditioning, for example, whatever it might be. Okay. Let's
Okay.
talk about it next week. So when you meet them next time, you'll say, hey, what did you think of that? And so it enhances your conversation with them. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Now, the client might have come to you with, say, anger issue. So you're talking about anger. And goes away, looks at the app and says, oh, by the way, I'm really curious about the relationship piece in the app. And you
Mm,
say, yeah, let's talk about that. So it can expand the conversations you're having with clients.
okay.
So that's the second way in which it can really help you.
Okay.
I think the third way is it offers a way in which therapists can bring groups together and have group therapy sessions.
Okay.
So you invite a group of people and you say, before you come to this session, download the app and go through whatever it is. This week we're talking about anxiety, for example.
Mhm.
So you are the host and you facilitate that discussion about anxiety, but you use the app as a sort of framework for that discussion. So that's the third way.
Mhm.
And the fourth way is you can share the app with your local schools and colleges and universities and organizations and healthcare departments. And because it's got sections there for all of them, because everywhere there are human beings who are in trouble,
Yeah, I
stressed,
agree.
anxious, all that. And if the organization decides to take that app up, then of course they're going to invite you to come along and boost that engagement or help with getting that app embedded into that organization. So, and all the way through, of course, the therapist is making increasing their income as they go along. And we have a partnership program built into the app, which can enhance that. So you can see that inside the app. So there are a number of ways in which this approach can improve your own practice.
So I, I could sit here and talk with you all day, Dr. Christian. You give me some good stuff. So I got to take some of this stuff behind the scenes. I cannot let everybody get all the good that I get, right? I can't have them have all of it. So listen, guys, I need y'all to make sure you take a moment. I'm going to put Dr. Krishner's information down in the description box. I'm going to drop his links. He has an amazing approach with this Happier Me. I think everybody should have their own app. I really do. I think it's amazing. I've seen how it is able to move through not just for the therapist side, but also for the family side. So I'm looking forward to seeing what more it can do and how we can get out into this world and make a bigger impact, right? Because that's what our goal is at the end of the day. Everything is about impact. And I got to tell you, if you have a friend who needs to hear this, tell them go ahead and catch the replay because, honey, this one was out of sight. Oh my God, amazing, right? So, listen, I want to thank you all for coming in and tuning in for the Patrice Brantley Show, where on this show we push purpose, positivity, and personal growth. You all have an amazing day. And I can't wait for us to get to the next episode because they're only getting better and better.